Good morning, everybody. This is Chuck Prince with NCC. We've got a fairly full hour, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Really appreciate everybody taking an hour out of your morning to spend with us. Hopefully it's good content and we won't go any longer than absolutely necessary. So the phones are muted as we begin the webinar. You can certainly text questions in during the presentation. There's a chat button up there on the toolbar. You can send us in questions. We will do our best to either answer those on the fly or towards the end of the presentation. Time permitting, depending on where we get, we will open up the phone lines at the end of the call for some Q&A. But please, to avoid all the background noise and all the squelch, keep your phone muted if you're not asking a question, please. All right, so we're here to talk about the release of 4.4.5.4, the new Reflection POS version. I think by the end of today, the files will be posted. I would just till tomorrow at the worst case, but we're in the process of getting everything up and organized. So our agenda today is going to be to give you guys an update on where we're at with the DeliverDirect integration, the status of our development and betas. I'll talk about the Incentivio loyalty product briefly. Then we'll just go through a few, always there's all the details in our release notes, but here today I'll just give you a few high-level things miscellaneous about 4.4.5.4. Then we will roll into the introduction of the new KDS system. And then a little bit off the agenda today, we are going to talk about CD Financial and Evo have worked with us to put together a pretty cool bundle program for doing hybrid SaaS or SaaS out there. So want to keep throwing competitive models out there in the field, and I think this one. All right, so recently at our dealer conference, we talked quite a bit about online ordering, and we talked about how 3 of every 5 consumers in the U.S. order delivery or takeout at least once a week. There was an increase in the pandemic, or through the pandemic. There was an increase of 50% in online orders or online sales. But it's not ending as we get out of the pandemic. All the industry experts predict that will continue to grow by 20% annually. So there was a huge bump during the last two years or so, but it continues to grow at a really high 20%. We referenced a survey at the conference. The survey was 500 restaurateurs from various metropolitan areas across the United States. 95% of those restaurateurs indicated that, and this was during last calendar year, they were using one or more online ordering platforms. But out of that 95%, roughly a third indicated that they are doing their own quote-unquote online ordering, which would leave the other 2/3 as doing DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, etc. When asked what features are quote-unquote missing from online ordering solutions, dinner discovery platform. Think about the fact that I can go to DoorDash, log in, look for Italian restaurants in Greenville, and sort of shop the marketplace. Integration, delivery options, and of course marketing and advertising, the things that Grubhub and DoorDash are spending gobs of money on Super Bowl commercials, etc. Pretty tough for a local restaurateur to keep up. The most important thing, I think, though, that came out of that survey when it came to online ordering was when these restaurateurs asked to compare dine-in or in-store tickets to take or online orders, you can see that almost 3/4, so a little over 3/4, 76%, indicate that they're between 11 and 30% higher tickets for online orders than they are for dine-in orders. So it's a very significant growth in average ticket for online orders. The Deliverect integration. Real quickly, I want to recap what this looks like, so to speak, architecturally and business a little bit. So Deliverect is the best way I can term this is sort of an aggregator. They are a gateway. They are connected on the backside to well over 100 different integrations. Those integrations, of course, are the big Skip the Dishes and Uber Eats and DoorDash, etc. But there are also companies like Ordering 360 and online ordering companies. There are also companies that do apps for like in-stadium ordering, things like that. They're all connecting through Deliverect. So Deliverect is a cloud-based one-to-many gateway, so to speak, that then NCC developed our own cloud service. So we wrote a web order service that will live up in the Google Cloud that can connect to Deliverect, sort of cloud to cloud, and we can send data to them, they can send data to us. So it's very much a two-way comms from Deliverect, which of course means all these 100+ providers that Deliverect integrates to are now integrated to us by proxy. The web order service then connects to PDS, the guts, the database engine of PC Workstation in store. So the web order service can send requests for information or send orders, acknowledge orders, etc., back and forth with PDS down in the store. And of course, PDS communicates real time with the point of sale lanes. All right, let's go through Deliverect's business model just a little bit. Typically, Deliverect charges merchants a one-time setup fee of $149, but they are waiving that setup fee for any referral from an NCC reseller. So any referral that you send to Deliverect, they will waive that setup fee for your merchant. They do offer a reseller residual of 20% of the monthly revenue. And they are a flat rate pricing model, and it's solely based on the number of orders. It's not percentage based. It's flat. It's easy to price out. If you have less than 350 orders, it's $69 a month. If you're between 350 and 749, it's $99 a month. And of course, if you're over 750, it's then capped out at $149 a month. The web order service from NCC, it is a $45 per month merchant cost. We do our typical 60-40 split with our resellers, so we will send you a residual or a rev share of $18 per month on those. That includes, so that $45 a month includes PDS. Now, the PDS it includes is a new build, a new version of PDS. So it is not full-bore PC workstation. It does not have reporting. It does not have programming. It has the ability to send and receive and interact with the web order service, and it has the check viewer. So your merchants could go in and look at pending or future orders, etc. But that light, quote-unquote, version of PDS is included with the web order service. Now, you can use the full purchased version of PC Workstation, so if your merchant requires that or already has that, fantastic. It will work, but if with the web order service, you are able to use this light version of PDS. All right, looking at Deliverect a little bit. This is certainly from their statistics, but this is kind of their value prop or their ROI. So, on average, their customers benefit from, starting sort of at the top. On average, they report that their merchants see a 25% increase in revenue. How do they see those revenue gains? A 25% reduction of employee costs, a 48% faster delivery time, and an overall reduction of errors of 80%. So obviously getting the orders into the kitchen properly, not hand keying them, cashiers not having to ring them twice, etc., etc. We've been in beta with Deliverect since, I think, the third week of April. I believe that's where we set, mid to end of April. One of our first beta sites, I think this was actually number 2 on the Monopoly board, but it is a fresh, healthy Mexican food restaurant out in Los Angeles, California. Been a fairly long time NCC user, and has certainly been a long time DoorDash user, just never had the ability to integrate DoorDash to the point of previously. So, he went live April 27th, but so given that, I wanted to look at the month of May. This customer happens to be an RHQ merchant, so I had a vision to all of his data, and I found his data to be compelling. In May of this year, 42% of his orders came in via DoorDash/Deliverect. So roughly 40% of his orders are done through DoorDash. Of those 40%, or of those DoorDash orders, 66% were for delivery, 34% were for pickup. 40% of his orders represented 50% of his total sales, which really is built from his average ticket in the month of May was 41% higher for DoorDash orders than it was for in-store orders. Call that dine-in or counter orders. So 40% of his orders represented half his sales, and he sees a 41% increase in average ticket. All right. We are still working through the beta process, guys. Give you a status right now. We have 4 sites live and completed beta. So we have 4 sites that have gotten through beta and quote-unquote passed the litmus test. We have 1 site that went live last week that monitoring closely between us and Deliverect. Very hopeful that over the next week or two, that site may do enough successful orders to believe it passes beta. If it does, then we come out of beta. But we have got 2 additional sites that we're working on just in case, just as Plan B. So we have 2 sites that are currently working on their menus and should be going live shortly. So 4 done, 1 in really now accepting live orders and just being evaluated, and then 2 additional as a backup plan. The minimum requirement was that we had 5 successful beta sites, and success is a certain number of consecutive orders without any failures. I think that number was 200 orders consecutive with no failures. I will tell you that this has held up extremely well. I'm not going to give you real data from any of our customers. I just don't think it would be cool. But we've got one customer that they're just in the thousands of orders already processed through this, and I think they had 3 failures over about a 3-month window. And when we look into those failures, 2 of them were PDS had gotten shut down or the back office computer wasn't working. All 3 of their failures had very logical explanations. So we'll keep you posted. I am guardedly or cautiously optimistic that we will get through beta in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm pretty hopeful by the end of July this will be live and to general availability. With that, we will start doing some training webinars to get you guys more familiar with Deliverect, familiar with the process, familiar with the setup and the order flows and the troubleshooting. So we will kick those off Thursday, July 28th, which again I hope more than coincides with our general availability, but we will do that on the 28th at 9 and noon. That'll probably be the first of a few either live or recorded sessions, but this one will definitely be live. Looking forward to a lot of Q&A on that one. All right, pause there. There was one question on that content. If a customer is using PC Workstation instead of the PDS or the light version of PDS, then they're just using PC Workstation. The monthly service is still $45 per month. Then we residual the reseller 18. All right, let's talk loyalty briefly. Again, when we refer to that survey of 500 merchants, 57% of those operators, so over half of the operators reported that they now offer a loyalty program. Interestingly, almost split down the middle as to were they offering it before the pandemic or did they start offering it through or after the pandemic. I would have honestly expected that number to be a little more skewed to after the pandemic or through the pandemic, but you can see 51% of them had been using it for pre-pandemic, so to speak. When those restaurateurs were asked, what do you see as value or what's your gains or benefits from the loyalty program, you can see roughly a third said more engaged customers, roughly a third said more frequent visits, and then again a little over a third board reported average sales, average ticket were higher. So real tangible benefits or values from implementing a loyalty product. All right, so let's talk about Incentivio. As many of you guys know, Reflection POS has been fully integrated to Incentivio for a couple years. We've got several customers, small chains out there using their product. They're very focused on mobile apps. That's kind of their core business. And their loyalty product is fully integrated to their online ordering. And what I mean by that is all points gained, all rewards spent, etc., are currently coming from their online ordering product and feeding their loyalty product. Now we will be able to go forward, and we are now fully integrated to Incentivio. So not only are we 100% mobile orders with them, we are now fully integrated to their loyalty product. So if you guys close all that loop, you could have a merchant doing mobile ordering, doing in-store ordering or dining, and have all the points, all the spends, all the coupons done or accrued from either direction. With Incentivio Loyalty, you can reward your guests for a lot of different reasons. Certainly you can reward them for signing up. You can reward them for the dollars they spend or the frequency they visit. Or you can actually reward them for referring other customers to join your loyalty program. Real quickly, I'm not going to take the time or have the time today to dig too deep, but if I'm looking sort of at the POS operations of the loyalty integration, obviously you're going to have a loyalty customer button on your POS screen, and then you're going to be able to select a loyalty customer. Now, you can select in Incentivio's integration. You could enter an account number or scan a barcode or a QR code. Incentivio usually, like in their app, generates QR codes for the account number. So you could certainly scan that here to enter the account number. You can enter their mobile number as an alternative ID, or you can enter their email address as an alternate ID. By option, we can go silent here, or we can display you a status of this customer. So once we have called Incentivio and gotten information about this consumer, we know he's Paul Cunningham, we know he has this many points, and he has this many coupons available. Again, this is optional. You can do it silent or displayed or noisy. Once I have selected Paul Cunningham, you'll see he is now associated with that order, and you just start ringing up orders and going. You also then would have the ability, so you'd add a loyalty coupon button to your POS screens as well. And when you select your loyalty coupons, we would display a list of all available coupons. Now, if anybody's used our loyalty integrations with other providers, you will definitely see we've added quite a bit to the toolbar up here. We now let you sort your rewards, so you could sort, by coupon code or by name or price. You also see we have the Show All button. So with Incentivio, let's say I'm doing points as spend. So Mary has 8,000 points. I want to see what product Mary could buy with her 8,000 points. Now maybe she's, maybe there's a cheeseburger deluxe combo that's sitting right there at 8,100 points. So I want to be able to tell Mary that if I show all in a grayed out kind of font, we would display other coupons, maybe ones that Mary's not eligible to receive yet, but she's working towards. The rewards themselves can be either item, dollar, or percentage, subtotal dollar or percentage, or again, as I said, they can be points as purchase. So each restaurant would decide that a point equals X. We're going to work with Incentivio on this one. I think to get full benefit, we will need their help or assistance. So on Thursday, August the 11th, we'll schedule a couple webinars. Again, 9 and noon seems to be our norm. And we'll bring Sash or somebody in from Incentivio to work with me on that one. I'll kind of go through the Reflection POS setup and operations. Sash will go through how their programs work, their pricing, their business model, et cetera, et cetera. All right. Hold on. We did get a question. Can the cell phone number be entered through a customer-facing pin pad? If you have like a USB keypad or something out there, yes, it could. It's not going to be entered through like an Ingenico or a Verifone or anything, but it can be entered through a USB like keypad. Hopefully that answered the question. All right, with 4454, I think there's this is an important slide. Evo is ready to release a new build of their Telium or Tetra firmware. They are waiting to announce this. I think they have a plan to do it maybe even this month. Code name anyways, it might actually be version 3.7.9 for all I know, but code name they've called it Evo US ING1. I know it has various fixes or enhancements. I know primarily it fixes two of our nagging issues where if a card holder inserts their card too early, all heck breaks loose. And it fixes the issue where if there is a partial approval, the transactions don't flow properly back to the cashier the way they did in earlier builds and versions. There's probably other features, enhancements that I'm not giving credit to. Those are the two that come to mind. Important two-parter here. To use Evo's new build, your sites must be running 4454. Getting too many fours in there, sorry. So before Evo updates those pin pads, you need to make sure your site is upgraded on the POS side. Having said that, our POS version 4454, will work with their new build as well as previous builds. So make sure you see the if and then in that statement. If Evo updates your site, you have to update the POS. But if you do update the POS, it doesn't mean Evo has to then update the site in any speed or sense of urgency. With this release, do not allow or run their new build with WinPOS. There are some discovered communication issues. I'm not saying they're instantly noticeable, but I wouldn't think a merchant would even get through a business day without seeing some comm problems. So please, guys, until we can work with Evo and get this resolved, Do not request or allow them to update any of your sites running Windows, Reflection for Windows. Embedded, fine, perfect, works like a champ. Windows is where we're seeing the COM problems. That certainly is a work in progress, and hope to have a follow-up to this in the very near future. A few other miscellaneous notes more. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail again on these, but and the release notes will cover them. But with 4454, you will see some POS Connect enhancements. I think it will, improve some of the performance yet again. These were mostly server-side changes, as we talked about at the conference, so I think we were continuing to improve the key rate and the responsiveness, so to speak. More importantly, we've got a small subset of resellers that have reported if POS Connect goes down for any extended period of time, it was causing in-store communication problems. We were able to track that down with the help of a couple resellers. That has been resolved as a combination of changes on POS Connect and you upgrading those sites to 4454. So this was impacting what I feel is a pretty small subset of the sites out there, but for those sites it seemed very painful. We've added a barcode field to the discount record. That will allow you to, if your customers aren't using, normal traditional barcode formats for coupons, but they want to do in-store coupon creation or barcode creation, they could now set that up and put that barcode in the discount field. We've added a reference number field to the discount record. And with that, we've added a new function to look up by reference number. So, if on these coupons, maybe you are barcoding, maybe you're not, I don't care, but you want to look up that by a shorter, hopefully, reference number. So on these coupons, your merchant could put, it's barcode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but it's reference number 2 or it's reference number 23. Then manually the cashier could look it up by reference number much quicker. Older pre-auth, so integrated sites, twin trans, that were doing bar tab pre-auth. We discovered after we did all the credit card fees, the credit card surcharges, we kind of discovered that we omitted adding that for sites that were using the bar tab pre-auth. So that will be changed in 4454. So if you have an existing or future merchant doing integrated payments, swiping on the terminals, and doing bar tab pre-auth, you will be able to assess a credit card fee on those transactions. And that, again, is only for the integrated payment configurations, not semi-integrated /EMV. Had more than I would have imagined requests on this, and I guess it was due to the chain shortages and some of the issues going on through the pandemic. But it seems like we have more sites rounding cash now than we have in the past. I know our Canadian resellers have had to deal with this since they got rid of pennies up there a few years ago. But here in the States, we're getting more and more instances, it seems like, of this. Now, if you're doing rounding, so you're rounding your cash, let's say up to a nickel, down to an even dollar, whatever, and you're doing the credit card fee, and you're printing the non-cash due. So you got three toggles there. You are rounding, you are doing credit card fee, so we have a comparator, and you're printing the non-cash due line on your tab or on your presentation check. We will now print the rounded amount on the presentation check. It's really awkward right now that it's going to say you owe me $3.02 in cash, but when they actually pay cash, it rounds down to $3 or up to $3.05. So with those three criteria, we'll print the rounded amount as the total due. We've also added the ability for modifiers to cause a package label to print. So for years now, we've been able to print a package label. I had three shakes on this order, so I'm going to print 3 tags or 3 labels to go on each shake, a strawberry, a chocolate, a vanilla. But modifiers were not driving the label print. So of course, if you sell that shake in a combo, was not printing the label. That's been changed in this version. And then we have added in Reflection POS a new video device type. So when you're in system printers or printer type setup, you have a new video device type called NCC KDS. Before I move on, just saw a question pop up. I am told, guys, that Evo will not automatically update these sites to the new firmware. I am told they will communicate with the reseller prior to, or only do that with communication from you guys. All right, so with that new KDS driver that we wrote comes our new KDS product. I'll give you an overview. This again is an application that was developed, is developed by NCC directly and will be supported by NCC directly. It will be fully integrated to Reflection POS starting with version 4454. You will simply set it up as a printer, define it, and then define it as a system printer. It is TCP/IP communication. So it is not serial, USB, etc. It lives and talks on the LAN. The supported operations of the KDS. Obviously, you can bump orders. You can recall bumped orders. So if you inadvertently bumped an order that you didn't mean to, you can progressively go back and recall those orders up to the previous 25. And then there's arrows and page buttons for next and home, etc., for navigation. So you can navigate to the next order or to the next page of orders, etc. Input methods we'll support here. We will support touchscreen. We have written this product to be very touch-friendly. Of course, it will support bump bars. Currently, as long as the bump bar is programmable, we will provide you with the key sheet. And key sheet, maybe that's the wrong word. We'll provide you with a chart that tells you, as an example, a bump button on the bump bar is a delete button to NCC. So when you can then go into a logic controls device and program that bump bar to be delete, good to go. Supported operating systems. Out the chute, we will support Linux. Now, we did not develop this specifically to Ubuntu. However, it is Ubuntu Linux that we're doing all of our testing. It is what we will be most familiar with, certainly. So it doesn't mean it will not run on other flavors of Linux. But if you have the choice, or if the choice is yours, go with Ubuntu. and we will support Windows, Windows 10, Windows 11. I don't think there are reasons it would not run on Windows 7, even though you can't purchase Windows 7 devices any longer. But we're not doing testing or documentation certainly geared at Windows 7. We've kind of moved on to 10 and 11. Coming soon. So currently we are working on getting that ready for an open Android flavor as well. With what we're seeing out there, you know, Microsoft has a very nice Windows tablet, the Surface Go. Of course, there are Android tablets. There are also coming a lot into the industry right now, as they see more and more merchants going to touchscreen. I'm seeing more and more companies coming to market with really nice stainless steel ruggedized Android devices. Not an 8-inch necessarily. I'm seeing like 20-inch Android tablets that are stainless steel and really meant for a kitchen. So we will support Linux and Windows out the chute, with Android coming soon. So the home screen, the main screen of the KDS. First thing I want you to notice, there are no panels or bins existing on a blank screen. The panels will populate as you ring up orders. Up in the top left-hand corner, you have your settings menu. That is where you will go in to make any programming settings. We will cover those in training sessions, all the different setups and features and functions, etc. You can password protect or PIN code protect the settings menu. Up in the top right corner, currently you see the touch buttons for operations. You know, next page, home, bump, or recall. So if I want to run this in a touch screen, you know, I could double tap, so to speak, to bump an order. That could be a little dicey. I also have a bump bar, so a bump button, so I could select, touch an order, select it, and then bump it. Optionally, you'll have the ability to set up key items, and those will display down there on the bottom, on that bottom bar. So they'll work left to right across the bottom, and that's totally optional, that you could keep track of patties that need to be dropped right now or wings that need to be dropped right now. All right, so let's look at a couple orders. My screen is currently set up in like a 2x4, 2 rows, 4 column mode. You can see my orders. I'll add one now for delivery. Taking a look at in a little more detail at that order, up in the top left-hand corner, you will have order number or check number. So if you're using order numbers, that's what will display. If you're not using order numbers, then it will display the check number. Top right-hand corner is the elapsed time. So that counter starts as soon as that order hits the KDS. Over here underneath the order number, we have customer info. So let's say you're doing user entered tab names or phone numbers or whatever. You've set your order type to prompt for cust info. Or you are selecting from a list of customers. Either way, that customer's name will print there underneath the check number. Over here, I will have the server name. So ignore the fact that my server is Susan and my customer is Susan, please. They are different. The Susan on the right is my server. Susan on the left is my customer. The bin number will display top center. So if you're using a bump bar and you want to navigate via the numpad, you just simply can navigate over to 2. And we're going to display the order type there at the in that band at the top of the order. Menu items, and of course modifiers. Now, since 99.9% of all our KDS out there probably are using printer emulation, you guys have never used the menu settings for the KDS color. You will now be able, or you will desire, to use those in the future. We default on the KDS main menu items to be white, modifiers to be red, sub-modifiers of a modifier to kind of be an off-teal color. So we've got some canned colors we'll default to, but if you go into your menu items and you tell that burger you want it to go in bright pink, it will go in bright pink. So it's going to be controlled by your menu item settings. And we did add a faint item separator in between each item on an order. Just think it gives a real nice touch or look and feel to the order to be able to see where I start a new item. All right, notice that in this 2x4 display mode, maybe I have an order that is forced to wrap to the next bin. So take a look at that order. You can see the first thing we do there is we put the word continued at the bottom of the first panel or bin. Then on the joined bin, or the second, or well, the joined bins or second, third bins if necessary, we remove that header. A, that gives it a much better look and feel to know that's a joined order, and B, it gives us more room to get as many items as we can in that second panel or additional panels. We also keep up with the paid status of a check. If your restaurant wants to know that order's been paid before they bump it, or it just wants to know it's been paid, period, we can display the paid status of the order. All right, do want to note and use this as an example. There is no consolidation at the kitchen video. So if I have 2 broccoli and cheese rang up as separate menu items, you'll get a broccoli and cheese twice as separate menu items. If you enter 2 iced teas at the POS, then we will show the quantity and the 2 and the iced tea at the KDS. But there is no consolidation. All right, notice here, I have changed my mode from 2x4 to 1x4. So now I have 1 row but 4 columns. So if I'm in an environment that has larger orders, I don't want a lot of wrapping, maybe, probably a faster quick service kind of place that they don't get pages and pages and pages of orders backed up anyways, then this is a real nice display mode. Notice that as I add in this example a 5th order, so I go from 4 to 5, you'll notice that the scroll bar becomes visible or evident, but I also I bud that next order over on the right-hand side of the screen, so I can see the beginning of that next order. I also can now see that my next button is lit up. Now I can go to the next page of orders. When I was simply back here, but notice my next button is not available. I add another order. I now could next down to that page. All right, and just to point out, because I have these menu items set up as key items, notice that through the course of these orders up on the screen, I now know I have to, right now I should have 4 patties and 8 wings on the fryer or the grill respectively. So now I went over to that next page of orders. So guy pulls up to the drive-thru. This was a stored order out from the squawk box. Guy pulls up from the drive-thru and he wants to add an apple pie and a banana pudding. So that apple pie and that banana pudding, or what's entered in a new service round, you'll see that hyphened white line separating. B, the new items will be displayed with a green background. So that will indicate new items. Probably should have prefaced a couple things earlier on this topic, but you have the ability to use beep or notification tones. There are 3. One is for normal orders coming in. One is for orders that have been appended or added to. So an order that was previously sent but now is going to have new items. And one is if you do voids. And you'll see similarly, that guy came up to the drive-thru, he wanted his apple pie and banana pudding, but at the same time he got rid of the house salad with the French dressing. So voids will go to the KDS as well. You can set the colors based on timers. So you can set as many timer thresholds as you desire. This is for a lapse time of order. So I can say at 1 minute, I want you to start flashing the top of this in yellow. At 2 minutes in red. At 3 minutes in something else. So you can draw attention to orders that are getting too aged. Notice that everything I've been showing you has been in dark mode, which is the default mode, but we do support a light mode. So you can change that through your settings and show a light mode depending on your environment. Notice that if you're running touchscreen, so notice what I did there. I moved the top bar to the bottom. If you're running touchscreen, that touchscreen may be mounted up a little high for the operators to be up there touching the top of that touchscreen. So with an option, you can put the header on the bottom. You also can do steering by order type. So in my environment here, I may want all my counter, all my dine-in orders, etc., go to the top row, but I want my drive-through or my carry-out or my to-go orders to go to the bottom row. So you simply can set that up to steer by order type. Of course, you must have 2 rows at a minimum to do that. The other thing with the introduction of the DeliverX system, if these orders come in from the WAS, the web order service, or from DeliverX, we will take the customer name directly from the data DeliverX sends us. We will display the channel name, so Uber, Grubhub, whatever that might be, as well as their order ID. So now the kitchen knows if somebody called back and said, hey, where are we at with, order number 72 for Uber Eats? They'll know, they'll be able to reference that order. And you can see, just you could get, you get carried away. If you were in a place that you want a shake video or a beverage video that was probably going to be 3-4 items at the most, you could cram. Heck, I'm in 5x3 mode here, so I can get up to like 15 different orders on one screen. All right, so again, as I said, the KDS is built in, the integration is built right into Reflection POS 4454. Remember, 4454 requires an 8 gig SSD. Don't forget, if you're upgrading from an older version, you got to make sure you're taking care of the EDC license. Pricing on the KDS, this is a software purchase, purchased directly from NCC. The part numbers SWREFL KDS. Reseller cost on the KDS software is $195. If you'd like to get a dealer demo, that is one per dealership, and that part number is SWREFL KDS demo. And the cost on that is $0. Guys, like our POS licenses, these KDS licenses are licensed. They're built off the device you install them on. So they cannot be moved from device to device. We will dig in deeper on the KDS. I'll go through all the settings and really go through some in-depth training. We will do that on Tuesday, July the 19th at 9 and noon. So probably before the end of the week, we'll start to get you some emails out with links to get signed up for these various training sessions. This will be the first, and it'll be on the 19th. All right, so well, I want to take 5 minutes or so and go through Evo's new Evo CD Financial Services new SaaS program. So wanted to keep this simple. So a bundle, a base terminal is going to start with a point of sale terminal, be that an HK570 embedded or Windows, doesn't matter. It's going to come with the terminal with reflection, customer display, cash drawer, receipt printer, kitchen printer, router, switch, and the Ingenico card reader from Evo. So that, to my mind, that's an all-in, everything I would need, potential, or probably everything I would need to have a one-terminal point-of-sale system installed in my restaurant. Now, you would then add to the base. So every site's going to have a base terminal. Now you would have a few options. You could add a cashier terminal bundle. That would come with the terminal, the customer display, the printer, the cash drawer, and the credit card reader. You could have a server terminal you wanted to add on that would come with the terminal, the receipt printer, and the credit card reader. You could have a mobile terminal you wanted to add on. That would come with the Hisense HM628 with reflection, the charging dock, and the Evo encrypted MSR or EMV slot. And then you'd have the ability to add, remember, one kitchen printer came with the base terminal, but if they wanted to add an additional, you could add an additional BTPM 300. So really, guys, you have 5 options. You're always going to get number 1, and then you can add any quantities of 2, 3, 4, and 5 as your site needs. Number 1 is $110 per month. Merchant cost, $110 per month. Additional cashier bundle is $82, server $70, mobile $90, remote printers $10. So you can see, I'm starting out, Mr. Merchant, the base system, router, switch, everything's going to cost you $110, and then we add on one of these 4 options, or whatever you need of these 4 options. Those prices do include CRS's advanced exchange warranty. So those prices give you that reassurance that you can get an advanced exchange unit for those merchants. Now let's look at your side of that. On a base terminal, reseller would get $1,000 up front and $28 per month. On an additional cashier bundle, reseller would get $250 up front and $26 per month. Same thing on a server bundle. Similar on a mobile bundle. And on the remote printers, because they're only $10, you get $1 a month. That $1,000 up front on the base terminal includes the bonus from Evo and the revenue share from CD Financial. So those will be sort of pooled together, and you'd get $1,000 up front. These numbers do not include the monthly credit card revenue. So your process flow here would be to submit the, to CD Financial. My customer is going to get one base terminal. They're going to get one cashier service station. They're going to get whatever. CD Financial Services, they'll notify Evo that there is a new account or a new application, for lack of a better word. Evo will contact you. You'll work with Evo to do any of the paperwork to get this customer approved for credit card processing. Evo will do the approval. So if Evo approves them for credit card processing, CD Financial will approve them for the rental or lease program. They do not have to do two separate credit applications. Once everything's approved and paperwork is signed, CD Financial would order the equipment, you'd receive the equipment, you'd install the equipment, and then of course you'd get funded. So no cash outlay on your part. CD Financial will take care of all the ordering and all the shipping and all of that. You need to get it set up and installed. All right, real quickly, I'm sure you guys know this, but recently Toast kind of changed their pricing or added new pricing modules. They got a couple new starter programs. You can have the pay-as-you-go program that you can see gives the merchant one free lane of hardware, one free lane of software. They can buy additional lanes of hardware at $6.99 up front and $50 a month for the software. And if they wanted to add the mobile or the pay-at-table, order and pay-at-table device, that's $3.79 up front and $50 a month for the software. They also have the standard, which is, again, one lane up front, but at $7.99 up front, and then $69 a month for the software. And then you can add additional lanes or pay-at-table devices at the same prices. What's the difference? And the pay-as-you-go, the card rate, quoted card rate is 2.99 plus 15%, or 2.99 plus 15 cents from Visa, MasterCard, and Discover, higher for Amex, higher for promotion and some of the other kind of cards out there. In the standard program, they knocked that down to 2.49 and 15. So you can see I can get free hardware and software up front, or free hardware and free monthly software at one lane, but my card rate is 2.99%. Or I can pay for everything and it goes down to 2.49. So let's compare those. Real quickly, I've got upfront cost, monthly cost, estimated monthly credit card fees. And that I'm basing off our average Evo merchant. So I had Evo look and see to me what is an average NCC merchant, $68K a month. So if I look at the pay-as-you-go up front, that's going to cost a merchant on a three-lane system, it's going to cost the merchant $16.48 up front, $100 monthly for the POS, $23.70 monthly for the credit cards, giving them a total monthly cost of $24.70. So I pay $16.48 up front, which is pretty low to get into a three-lane point-of-sale system, but I'm going to pay $24.70 a month with card fees and POS fees. Standard program, $24.47 up front. Upfront cost goes up, monthly cost of the POS goes up, credit card fees go down. So I'm only at $2,000 on the credit card fees, giving me a total monthly of $21.99. So I'm going to pay roughly $2,500 up front and roughly $2,200 total per month. Now let's look at this program you can do with this bundle. Upfront cost, $0. Total monthly cost of the POS system in that three-lane system, and I used all cashier stations, so I would be at one of the higher cost factors. You'd be $274 a month. Yes, you would be, you know, 70, 80, whatever dollars higher than Toast per month on the POS. Estimating EVO's card fees, taking averages again of my $68K a month merchant, EVO's card fees would be $1,760. So your total monthly cost goes down to $2,034. So at worst, quote unquote, their monthly cost is $24.70, at best $21.99. Yours would be $20.34. So take that system that was going to cost that merchant $20.34. Let's look at the dealer revenue. You'd get your $1,500 up front. On the POS, you'd get $80 a month. On the credit card fees, again, basing everything off EVO averages, you'd get $150 a month, giving you a total revenue, so you get your $1,500 up front plus $230 a month, giving you a total across 36 months of $97.80 for that three-lane system. So we will also, we'll introduce different base terminals, the 570, the 270J. We will come out with a lot more details in the very near future on this program. So again, we will have a webinar scheduled on this. We're going to do those on Thursday, July the 21st at 9 and noon. We will co-op with CD Financial to go through the details on that program. All right, guys, we are definitely not going to have time to open up the phones, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a couple that were typed in. On kitchen video, is it batch mode or can it send real time? It is batch mode. It sends on the total, the tender. The $195 price, yes, that is per unit or per lane of software. Do you recommend a brand of PC? Your sales reps could probably give you some information. We've been in beta with the KDS now for, I don't know, a couple weeks, 3 weeks maybe. We can talk to what the dealers have done or get some recommendations from them. I'm not sure I have a specific right now. I will tell you guys, I'm working with Blue Star trying to get a bundle put together. So far, it obviously didn't happen fast enough for me to announce that here, but I will hopefully have a bundle put together with Blue Star in the near future. But plainly, certainly could get you guys some feedback on, be it Windows or Linux boxes and bump bars that you could use. So if you have any more questions, feel free to, follow up with Lee or Clay directly. I really appreciate your time. Thanks for tolerating me going a little long. Look forward to getting this out. Again, the POS should be posted, I would say, by end of day today or tomorrow at worst case, and then we'll get the release notes out and follow that up with an email letting everybody know the status. Thank you guys for your time, and we'll follow up with more information.